What's up guys, and welcome to Ink Taco. Now if you pay attention to this channel for long, you know that I'm a bit of an isekai fan. However, there is one other form of anime that's got me high in the air right now, and that is shonen, because Bleach 1000 Year Blood War is going crazy. And that kind of got me thinking. When I watch shows, sometimes I think of like, what characters would I add to the show? If I had a character in the show, what would he be like? What kind of powers would he use? If I'm watching Naruto, what kind of ninja would he be? What kind of ninjutsu would he use? And Bleach is no different. As I watch the show, I'm like, hey, what kind of Zanpakuto would my character have? If I was in the show, what kind of Zanpakuto would I have? And that kind of led into me conceptualizing something here, and that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. So today, you're going to get a cool little Bleach concept from me, known as the Okami 8. Eight Shinigami that grew up in the crime-ridden Rukongai district. The Okami 8 officially formed after the end of the 1000 Year Blood War, initially being conceived after Mayuri's order to round up and kill 28,000 Rukongai residents. Growing up, they witnessed the fellow members of their district being looked down upon by those in the Seirete and the noble families. Realizing that they, their families, and other members of the Rukongai district would never truly be of value to those that kept watch over them, 8 souls united and promised to become peacekeepers and protectors for those they lived among. Together, the young spirits trained for years, strengthening their bodies until they were able to join the Shinigami Academy. Although they each went on to join separate divisions, the Okami 8 developed several Kido that allowed them to keep an eye on Rukongai, being able to mobilize when needed. Alongside this Kido, the Okami 8 began to recruit any willing civilian of the Rukongai district into their ranks, forming a small hidden army and intelligence network. When night falls, members of the Okami 8 don wolf mask and patrol the Rukongai district, maintaining peace from the shadows. To be sure they have the power to maintain peace in Rukongai, members of the Okami 8 have fully developed their Bankai and their Shikai, although they keep their secret from their divisions. First of the 8 is Yuito Saito, the leader. A member of the 2nd Division, Yuito is a soft-spoken the majority of the time, but when handling tasks for his division or patrolling the Rukongai, he keeps a serious and stern composure. Although he never officially accepted a title, Yuito is acknowledged as the leader of the Okami 8 by its members. His Zanpakuto is Moya, with the release command of Hush. When his Shikai is released, despite the temperature, Yuito's breath is visible as if he were in cold weather. The blade of Moya becomes invisible. He's able to alter its length and width when not swinging the blade. His Shikai has a special ability. Upon command, a thick cloud of mist can be released from the blade, obscuring an opponent's vision and senses. His Bankai is Richi Kengu no Misuto. Large amounts of mist begin to emit from Moya. From the mist, 3 large ghostly hooded figures emerge. The figures can be issued telepathic commands by Yuito, but can also fight autonomously. The figures cannot be slain by its weapons pass right through them. First is Kura, wielding a whip lined with jagged pieces of metal. Kura's movements are seen in the opposite direction by its opponents. Anyone Kura grabs is rapidly decayed by its touch. Next is Sutoka. Wielding a large butcher's knife, Sutoka is invisible to everyone but Yuito. Anyone grabbed by Sutoka will not be able to see Yuito until his Bankai is released. And finally, it's Tutsu. Wielding a massive warhammer, Tutsu is the slowest moving wraith, but keeping himself on the ground grants him limited control over the earth. The next member is Aiko Nakamura. Member of the 3rd Division, Aiko can easily come off as snobbish or bratty. She cares very much about her appearance and will always prefer to lounge around, taking care of herself rather than go out on missions. Despite this seemingly pretentious attitude, Aiko cares deeply for the civilians of the Rukongai and is a fierce defender of those that would harm who she cares about. Her savagery and proficiency with the blade often causes others to consider her more fitting for the 11th Division. Her Zanpakuto is Sakayuri, with the release command of Drink. The blade of Sakayuri turns red, looking as if it was coated in blood. Any wound created by Sakayuri is merely filled with white spider lilies. The flowers turn red as they drain the blood from the victim's body. A fully red spider lily will solidify and shatter, exploding into tiny needles that pierce the victim's skin. Her Bankai is Furuwa Purinesu, Sakayuri. The red blade of Sakayuri takes on an ominous glow. Hundreds of red spider lily seeds emerge from the blade and float around Aiko. These seeds can be fired at opponents. If a seed lands, it burrows inside the target. The seed then claims a random internal organ or part of the body as its roots are embedded into the target's body. A large spider lily blooms in that area. Should any damage come to the flower, the damage will be reflected into part of the body that was claimed. Serving the flower results in immediate destruction of the claimed body part. The third member of the Okami 8 is Valkyrie Goda. Valkyrie has a brain almost as big as her muscles. Although she enjoys battle, she loves studying battle even more. After each combat encounter, she fills an entire journal with notes of her opponent's abilities and fighting techniques. The fact that you can find her either doing push-ups or scribbling down battle tactics makes her a perfect member of the 11th Division. Her Zanpakuto is Tetsu Gundam, with the release command of hit them from all angles. When released, Tetsu Gundam releases a high-pitched tone before fading from Valkyrie's hand. A glowing white bracelet with 6 charms appears on her right wrist. Valkyrie has the ability to summon 6 weapons, each tied to a charm on her bracelet. Each weapon summoned drips with a distinct venom that has a unique effect. She can only manifest one weapon at a time, but weapons can be swapped out immediately. The first weapon is Tetsu Shutu, a longbow able to turn Ryatsu into arrows. Any arrow created is covered in a venom that paralyzes parts of the body they cut. The second weapon is Tetsu Hais, a battle pipe. Smoke inhaled from this pipe becomes toxic while inside Valkyrie. She is immune to it, but those exposed to the smoke she inhaled experience vivid hallucinations. The third weapon is Tetsu no Chi, a naginata coated in a venom that causes the wounds it creates to breathe profusely and never close. The fourth weapon is Tetsu no Bi, a tanto coated in a venom that causes rapid skin decay around the wound it makes. The fifth weapon is Tetsu no Oni, a massive Ono war axe coated in a large amount of acid-like venom. The venom quickly eats through organic matter and can be splattered by swinging the axe. And the final weapon is Tetsu Kaze, a bladed war fan. Any air moved by the fan is infused with this venom, causing temporary blindness if it hits the target's face. Her Bankai is Aikaichi Tetsu Gundam. Tetsu Gundam releases a low-pitched tone before Valkyrie's bracelet shatters. Upon her command, Tetsu Gundam emerges from the ground in a 700-yard stream of over 2,000 various bladed weapons. Once fully emerged from the ground, the stream is able to freely move through the air and it cannot break shape. Valkyrie is able to ride the stream and grab weapons to use, although it does not have any special abilities. The weapons of anyone she slays with her Bankai is added to the stream. The fourth member of the Okami 8 is Meyer. A man of few words, Meyer communicates with others sparingly through grunts and faint whispers. Aiko is the only one who reportedly seen Meyer's face as he hides it under a carved wooden mask, never removing it. Although she refuses to tell anyone what he looks like, between his mask and silent nature, many are creeped out by Meyer and stray from interacting with him. His creepy nature is amplified by a rather unique fighting style. Meyer incorporates his capability to painfully dislocate his shoulders and joints into the way he fights. He is a part of the 13th Division. Meyer's Zanpakuto is Keshigomu, with the release command of Ruin It. Keshigomu widens slightly as an aura surrounds the blade, causing the space around it to appear blurry. Swinging Keshigomu causes the space that the blade passes through to be erased. Erased areas will become incredibly blurry and be off limits. Erased areas will act similar to unbreakable walls, as no object, material, or person can pass through them. Erased areas can only be restored after Meyer's Shikai has been released. Meyer's Bankai is Genjutsu Shoryo Keshigomu. Keshigomu widens again as a white scratches appear on his blade. Thrusting Keshigomu into a wall or floor will cause a large area to be immediately erased. While in this erased area, Meyer is able to create anything he sees fit utilizing the erased space. This can range from perfect copies of a person or any object he can imagine. The next member of the Okami 8 is Usaku Baisho. Usaku Baisho is the fifth member of the Okami 8. Known for proudly announcing himself whenever he arrives on the scene, Usaku can easily be tracked down just from how boisterous he is. It is known as the loudest member of the 10th Division. Constantly seeking attention with how loud he is, Usaku also dyes his hair a constantly changing assortment of neon colors. Many write off Usaku as a loud idiot, not understanding that his constant thirst for attention comes from him growing up in Rukongai without a family. Once he has someone's attention, he'll do almost anything to keep it. His Zanpakuto is Bakuta, with the release command of Spin in the Flurry. Bakuta releases a single gust of wind before a fast spinning vortex forms around the blade. Anything that comes into contact with this vortex is repelled away from the blade at Mach 5. This includes structures and people. Touching the blade to the ground allows Ukaku to launch himself in whatever direction he is facing. Touching the blade to the ground allows Usaku to launch himself in whatever direction he is facing. His Shikai has a special ability. Usaku holds Bakuta in the air as a vortex around him. Any projectile that comes into contact with the vortex is launched back in the direction it came from, with 3 times as much force, and will do 3 times the damage it normally would have done. Usaku's Bankai is Shingeki Bakuta. Bakuta grows to become an Odachi, before a vortex reforms around the blade, possessing a slight purple glow. When touched to the ground, a massively powerful bubble originating from Musaku extends out and violently pushes away anything within a mile radius. When the blade is held in the air and activated, anything in a mile radius is pulled to him, stopping a few feet away. The power can then be reactivated again, pushing away any collected material away violently. Seeing Kura twice may cause you to believe you witnessed two separate people. A majority of the time, Kura can be seen exercising her duties as a member of the 4th Division with extreme precision and efficiency. Although her very by-the-book nature and unshakable rule-bound behavior can be very annoying for those that work with her, her nature to never break the rules and regulations causes Kura to build up large amounts of internal stress. This large amount of built-up stress can cause Kura to go on long bingers where she consumes large amounts of sake. While she can still complete her daily task while drunk, Kura is noticed to be much more relaxed down to earth during one of her binges. Her zanpakuto is Dokuzake, with the release command of empty the cup. Dokuzake swells slightly in size, causing Kura to hold the blade over her head, as the weapon's metal liquefies and pours down her throat, leaving only a 5-inch blade attached to the handle. Kura is able to regurgitate bits of Dokuzake's tiny blades, large shrapnel, or tiny needles. She can only release a limited amount of Dokuzake before her stomach is left empty. Once empty, she can recall the spent pieces of Dokuzake. All pieces return to her at high speed right up to the moment they enter her mouth where they reliquefy. Once empty, she can recall the spent pieces of Dokuzake. All pieces return to her at high speed right up to the moment they re-enter her mouth where they reliquefy. Kura can also regurgitate large amounts of Dokuzake as a liquid. When spit out in this form, Dokuzake will take on the properties of a highly combustible chemical, exploding violently when ignited. Kura's Bankai is Kusai Namimono Dokuzake. Dokuzake returns to its original form before beginning to greatly swell in size. The entire sword then explodes into a massive amount of sweet-smelling brown liquid. As Kura and the area around her are covered in the chemical, it ignites, setting any nearby liquid ablaze. She then takes on the form of a fire elemental, a flaming back skeleton, constantly releasing flaming liquid. Anything the liquid comes into contact with is quickly burned. The liquid is sticky and cannot be put out unless she wills it. She's able to spew an unlimited amount of this flaming liquid from her mouth. A massive puddle of flame liquid will follow her wherever she moves. She can also wield long tendrils to emerge from the pools of liquid. Shunichi Agawa is the 7th member of the Okami 8. Due to his tall and bulky frame, many assume Shunichi to be nothing more than a lumbering brute. However, this isn't nearly the case. As a member of the 12th Division, Shunichi enjoys nothing more than the study of science and biology, preferring to stay in the lab as opposed to on the battlefield. Shunichi's extreme knowledge of anatomy and poisons make him a terrifying combatant should the situation call for it. His zanpakuto is Murimeka, with the release command of Swarm. Shunichi's entire person, including his clothes as well as the Murimeka, become made of a swarm of 2 different kinds of insects. At any time, the swarm can be condensed to regain its original form. The insects become hyperactive in heat up to extreme temperatures, but are vulnerable to low temperatures. Any loss of insects will result in the remaining ones multiplying to regain the lost numbers. Both kinds of insects possess compound eyes, allowing them to quickly react to incoming attacks. The first kinds of insects are mites. Resembling large black houseflies, mites make up the exterior of the swarm. They multiply quickly when required. Mites possess a bite that releases a skin irritant, making it hard for those bitten to focus. The exoskeletons of mites are highly resistant to Ryatsu. Wasps are the second kind of insects. Resembling large black moths, wasps make up the interior of the swarm. They are slow to multiply, and the elimination of the last wasp means of Shuichi's death. Wasps possess a sting equal to the pain of a tarantula hawk. The body of wasps are highly resistant to all forms of physical damage. Shunichi has a special ability for his Shikai. He can send out parts of his horde to consume objects. Insects in the swarm then begin to secrete an acid. The acid rapidly dissolves anything it comes into contact with. Shuichi's Bankai is Teikoku no Murimeka. The swarm expands outward as the number of insects quintuple. The insects are able to emit a high-pitched song. No matter the volume heard by anyone, their brain functions immediately stop. Those with halted brain functions are vulnerable to Ushi's insects, planting them with larvae. Larvae position themselves under the heart of their host. After rapidly maturing, the now-grown mantis releases a pheromone into the bloodstream of its host. The pheromone causes the host to be 100% susceptible to Shuichi's commands alone. Mantises will live so long as he wills it or until they are killed. The final member of the Okami 8 is Akira Itachi. The youngest member of the Okami 8, Akira is described by most as intense. With an obsession with death and persistent nihilistic attitude, many forget that in fact Akira is the youngest member of the Division 10. Instead of looking up to his young captain, Akira holds an almost obsessive desire to surpass Toshiro, and one day take his place. Akira's Zanpakuto is Suppai Goda, with the release command of Entangle. Suppai Goda withers into a wooden club filled with holes. After the transformation, 100 tiny super spiders emerge from the club and scatter across the environment. Akira is able to see through the eyes of the spiders, and gives psychic commands to each, controlling them. Each spider can produce an extremely silky thread that after 30 seconds dries, becoming a thread that can cut through near anything. Akira's Bankai is Mezumeda Supagaido. The 100 spiders turn into light and ascend into the air to form 3 large portals. From these portals, 3 building-sized Tsuchigomo emerge and take position behind them. The first Tsuchigomo is Nanimonai. The smallest of the spider demons, Nanimonai devours time itself, while Akira's perception of time will remain the same. Those around him will be unable to grasp the correct flow of time, as things will either appear much faster or slower than they actually are. Individuals that are caught by Nanimonai will instantly turn into dust. Sora is the largest of the Tsuchigomo. Sora devours space itself. While Akira is able to accurately see the warping of space around him, those other than him will not be able to accurately perceive their distance from objects, as well as their correct size and shape. Those caught by Sora will contort horribly before exploding into a puddle of blood. The final Tsuchigomo is Owari. The medium-sized Tsuchigomo will first manifest and be dormant. As Nanimonai and Sora devour space and time, they create a Ryatsu that is channeled into Owari. This Ryatsu will slowly awaken him. Once awakened, Owari will seek to devour all life in existence. Those that look at Owari, including Akira, would immediately die. Owari is the fastest of the Tsuchigomo, and once caught, an individual will cease to exist, being wiped from the memories of anyone they have ever encountered. And with that, that's my concept for the Okami 8. Let me know below what you guys thought of my concept. Was it good? Was it bad? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What are you guys' thoughts on the 1000 Year Blood arc? Are you loving it? Are you hating that? Also below, let me know what kind of Bleach character you would design. Would you have an incredibly OP Bankai? Or would you more so focus on the style of the character, not so much on their abilities? I'd love to know you guys' feedback below. Also, let me know if you want to see more of these videos. I could do some concept characters for Naruto, or concept characters for One Piece, or other anime we watch. There's some anime and always more concepts to make. And stick around here on Ink Taco to keep eating more of that good old crunchy creativity.